So, do you ever wonder why vaginas look like scrambled eggs?
So we've been on hiatus
We're not starting the podcast
for like 2
like that.
weeks, and that's how you're starting the podcast.
No.
No, that's great. No, that's great. No. This is totally how we're starting the podcast. It's fine.
Please, God, no.
It's fine. You already started.
It's the most heinous thing I could possibly say.
That really is. No, I mean, it is, and that's why we're starting that way. So, welcome everybody to...
Well, let me finish. They look like scrambled eggs, and penises look like delicious sausage. So together, even breakfast.
I'm glad that you didn't say delicious scrambled eggs and delicious sausage. Only one of those was delicious.
I don't know. A disgusting sausage. Eggs are eggs, man.
I like eggs.
I love eggs. I'll eat eggs all day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Why did you have the qualifier for the sausage?
Because, like, a sausage can be burnt and, like, gross looking.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? Like, sausage has way more variables.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, you're right. But then again, you can also get the really mushy scramble. We're not talking about genitals anymore. We're literally talking about breakfast food right now. So, no, but really, dog, scrambled eggs can come like really watery because
I love those eggs though.
Do you really? You like your scrambled eggs watery?
A little watery. Like I love them all in all sorts, but like too dry. Depends what I'm eating. In a burrito, fine.
Right.
But like in an omelet type of setting with like cheese and sausage, a little bit wet. A little bit wet's good. Yeah.
Well. Anyway, welcome everybody to PostGrad Movies. I'm Cool Guy. He's the Cognitive Gamer, and we have been on pause for a little while because...
And as a reminder to people, we both are earning our master's degrees.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, even though we talk about genitals and breakfast, it does not mean we are unintelligent.
Well, I mean... no, but
we
really.
speak good.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
We speak good.
Yeah, I'm very well, yes. But anyway, the point is, we've been on hiatus because he was moving back to his studying location, and then I was starting up.
You could just say Philly.
Yes, Philly, and I was starting up classes and all that jazz. So it was a very interesting time, and we're trying to plan around our schedules, and we will get there at some point soon, I'm pretty sure. But until then, it'll be kind of splotchy, and we hope that we can get it out every week. We will try very, very hard. But anyway, the important thing that we're going to talk about now, because I haven't talked to him about his week in a while. How was your week? Plural.
So I road tripped out here, and it sucked.
Really?
Well, it's just boring. It's literally 3 days of just driving.
Just straight.
And it's not like you see anything interesting. You drive through like
flat Kansas,
Ohio, Nebraska, Indianapolis. Like the things you see are not cool. You know.
Yeah.
So this is really boring. And by the end of it, you hate each other because I went with my father, and it's just not fun.
I saw a bunch of pictures, selfies that he would take. Right over him, just show his face, and then you in the back striking a different pose every time, which I thought was pretty great.
God, the selfie in front of the casino. We woke up early, and he was like, "Yo, we have to go take a selfie real fast." I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? We literally are like still 18 hours away, and you want to? Fine, we'll take a selfie. Whatever."
You know what I recently found out? That certain phones, you know how they have portraits and landscape and macro and all that stuff? Certain phones now added a feature called selfie.
That's awesome.
It makes me want to punch myself in the face.
That's so cool, though. Like, imagine you as like a 43-year-old...
No.
43-year-old man, and you're like, selfie... Internet seems to like it, and then there's a button on your phone.
Please,
of course you're going to use it. That's cool.
Please explain to me what the difference between portrait and selfie is. It is literally the exact same thing, or at least it should.
It zooms in a little bit and maybe photoshops your face so you don't look like an ugly person.
Yeah. Like it automatically removes duck faces to help people out, that kind of thing.
No, it actually just makes them into duck bills. I think that's a way easier.
Add spaghetti like right into the mouth because it makes it better.
Mom spaghetti.
Anyway, keep going. What else did you do apart from hating your father?
Well, I'll skip the drive because that was boring.
Okay.
I went to North Carolina.
And How was
Got
that?
a tan. I was on the beach. It was fun. We went crabbing.
Oh, nice.
And by that I mean lips and tits went crazy. Started catching all the crabs on the beach.
Okay.
So I can now proudly say my fiance has crabs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Actually, there's a restaurant there called Dirty Dick's,
Mm,
and they serve crabs.
they would. They would.
I'm no joke. There is just planes flying over the beach with a huge sign that says "Get your crabs at Dirty Dick's."
That is hilarious.
And you're like, how is that even legal or allowed? I know in like Greeley, where I'm from, there's a coffee shop called Bad Ass and had a picture of a donkey on it, and literally the public had an outroar. Like,
Are you serious?
outroar. Yeah, they had an uproar. They ended up closing down, but not because of that. I feel like just nobody went there. I think they changed their name though. Anyway, but Dirty Dicks, totally fun. I think that's the difference between Colorado and the South. The South just don't give a crap.
They only give a crap about very specific things.
So yeah, and then I moved in to Philly, and like the first 3 days was literally me unpacking boxes and being just like, oh my god, this is the worst. Like literally, I spent like 7 hours building furniture I got at Kmart. I purchased furniture from Kmart, and it took like 7 hours to put together. And can I just mention, how the hell is Kmart still in business?
Yeah, I have no idea because I recently bought some bookshelves from Kmart. And I
Yeah.
have no idea how they still exist because everything is enormously overpriced there.
Well, see, I actually found them to be kind of cheap if you find it on clearance, right?
Yes,
Like
that's true.
you have to hit the deals, and they
Yeah.
try to trick you with the deals. Like I bought shelves, but only the black ones were on sale,
Oh, really?
and they had like 4 different colors.
Oh man, that's the worst.
So like they're totally tricking people. Also, there was 10 people that worked in the entire warehouse of a store,
That's true.
and like every aisle was disheveled and looked like the apocalypse happened. Like it was just sad.
Kmart
So
is like the store where you imagine the apocalypse happening. It's either a supermarket or Kmart. Have you ever think about it? Think about it. Kmart is like the perfect department store for an apocalyptic thing.
no, because it doesn't have any food. Also, Kmart already looks like the apocalypse happened.
Kmart has food. The Kmart by my house has food.
This Kmart had like an aisle of food, and it was junk food.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's still food, I guess. That counts.
You can't survive a long winter with zombies around on Chips Ahoy and Lay's.
You severely underestimate my abilities.
Is it your okay? Anyway, so Kmart's a piece of crap.
Yes.
We are not sponsored by Kmart, so we're allowed to say this.
Are we? I think
I
this
don't
is.
think they would have enough money to afford us.
Isn't this libel or something like that?
I don't. Maybe Kmart's great.
Right.
They have an Adam Levine line of clothes.
Oh God.
And they are just the camo jeans. That's all I'm going to say. Just camo jeans. And
I hate that guy. Anyway,
why do you hate Adam Levine?
he's no. You're a sellout. You go hang out with the sellout crowd over there.
No, but like his music's great.
No, it's not.
It's all right.
No,
It's better than most pop music.
that is debatable.
I really like Maps. That's a great song.
Oh my God, Maps? Are you serious? Oh my God, that song is awful. That is. Anyway, keep talking about your week.
Guess who it was written by?
Ugh, I don't want to.
One Republic. Yeah.
Really? Ugh.
Like every song for Hollywood now.
Oh, One Republic. All right. Anyway, keep going. What's up?
And then I started doing thesis stuff, so I had to submit my a request to the IRB.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
The project is to see if Genitalia looks like breakfast foods.
I was gonna buy it. You said genitalia, and I was like, I am gonna give this a chance. I'm gonna give this a chance to be real, just for a second.
It's not real. No, I'm actually doing. No shit, I'm not doing that.
Yep,
Did I
that's a
comment on
dick.
myself? I
Like
just did
that.
like weird, like you live alone and you're an only child thing where you talk to yourself, which I catch myself doing, especially after this summer because I was pretty much an only child again, which means I went home and there was no interaction,
Right.
and I would just catch myself. It's like. Beer and chicken's great, isn't that right, other Barry? Yeah, Barry.
Are you?
Chicken And chicken and beer is great. And it's just like, that's me at home. I'm like, this video is great, isn't it, other COG gamer? Yeah, other COG gamer, this is great. God, I'm so lonely.
Did you really give voices to the things where you were with, or was that just in your head? Did you say it out loud?
No, I would say I did it just earlier this week at school. I went the wrong way, and I'm like, no, that's the wrong way. And then I realized I said it out loud, and I'm like, God, I'm such an only child.
Well, that doesn't just happen to only childs, or children, because my mom does that to herself. She just talks to herself the whole time. She goes like, no, because that's like that, and that goes there, and then you're missing that, and then that. And it's the weirdest thing.
I mean, yeah, but it sounds like she's solving a puzzle. That's normal.
Well, she just talks to, like, overall, in general, she just talks to herself. Like, that's it. That's it. And there can be other people in the room, and she still does it.
Your mom's great. Her and I, we connect on a talking to herself level.
Of course.
Yeah, anyway, so I did the IRB stuff, which is just let us do whatever, you know? Who cares about ethics, you know?
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah. No, I care. I actually like ethics a lot. So I did that. But, I'm literally giving college freshmen a baseline for concussion, which essentially is them tapping squares.
Gotcha.
I feel like the IRB won't give a shit.
I don't think that they can find anything wrong with that.
But the other project that I'm working on is a autism website.
Oh,
so I don't want to say the idea on the air because it's not my idea. But it's an autism website. So I've been doing some background, like a lit review for that, essentially.
Nice.
And then I've been working at the writing center by essentially going in and standing in front of people and going, yo, we're the writing center. I write good. I help people write good.
I take issue with that statement because I've edited your things before.
They're not bad.
They're all right.
It depends what you edit.
The blogs back in the day.
Yeah, but those are just shit out and handed to you. There's a difference between something I crafted and a blog that I shit out. A paper for a class, I write like 2 months in advance, and it's not done until like the night before. And that's not because I still need to write it, and like I'm writing a word a day. It's because I craft it. And then I get an A-, and then I fucking my head against the wall into a nail. You know we're honors kids when an A- pisses you off.
Well, it should piss you off.
It's like you work so hard for an A-.
Yep. Minuses are the most useless grades ever.
Yeah, I don't like them at all.
Yep.
Not even a little bit. I had somebody ask me a question at the writing center today. It's like, so I'm not doubting your credentials as a tutor, but so what did you have to do to become a tutor? And I'm like, I'm a grad student. Yep. All right, good. And that's literally the end of the story when it was just kind of like, well, that doesn't seem right. What the? You could what? Going through school? What? Like, oh, but the other people actually went through classes and special training. I just get paid more than them.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Because you're a grad student.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Speaking of graduate students, I heard you became one earlier. Jesus.
So you write real good. So yes,
this is what happens when you go to the South. You just come back and your grammar is all
everywhere. Yeah. So yes, I started my first week of class last week, as a matter of fact.
The last class blast week. Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, I started classes and
fast.
It's been interesting. I don't know. It's
fast.
What did a what?
Nothing.
No, just stop rhyming garbage. So anyway,
I have autism. That's what happens.
Oh my god. But yeah,
I might have a touch of it, but it's not like contagious or anything.
Don't get vaccinated. I hear it gets worse. So,
God.
Full disclaimer.
Let's not get started on. We're gonna have enough liberal agenda later on.
Full disclaimer. No, that's not how that works. That was just a joke because people are idiots and believe that. But I need to say that that's not true. Anyway.
And the South is great. I'm sorry if anybody listening's from the South.
No, you don't have to apologize.
I'm not sorry. I'm not like apologizing. I'm just sorry for you.
That's
living in the South.
No, you shouldn't be like, I'm sorry for my comments about the South. It's fine. We don't apologize about making fun of Canadians sometimes. I mean, come on. What's that about? Anyway, so the point is, I became a grad student last week, And it's been interesting taking grad courses because the professors just sort of assume that you know the things. And I mean, that's all well and good for certain things, but then when you're doing population dynamics and the professor goes like, yeah, I just hit F9 on the keyboard here and all the numbers change in Excel. I mean, if you don't get it, you can read from the book and figure it out because you're all grad students and that's what that's about. And I was like, thanks, prof. You really doing a number on us here. This is nice.
It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You have less classes.
No, that's a common analogy. That is an idiom. That is.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad. I had never heard it. But yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You really have egg on your face.
No,
Let's put egg in our shoe and beat it.
Wow. Also, I'm in Puerto Rico and all of it is in Spanish, so I doubt that they would have said it's like drinking water from a fire hose.
Wait, your classes are in Spanish?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Well, what did you think? What? Like, come on.
I don't know. You went to a high school that spoke English, right?
Well, yeah, but that was different. Like, I'm going to the public University of Puerto Rico, the University of Puerto Rico, and here, unless the professor makes the class in Spanish, in English, which one of our professors is, he's doing it in English, but all the other professors are just teaching in Spanish, and I'm teaching labs, so I have 2 sections of labs that I'm teaching, and those 2 sections, I'm doing them fully in Spanish.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I mean, you speak Spanish, but
yeah.
I'm just thinking, your friend that moved there, does she speak Spanish?
Well, she can read it really well. She's getting a lot better at understanding it from people, and she can speak it relatively decently when she tries. So, like, the whole her being here has really been a crash course, and she's getting really good at being able to listen and understand what the people are saying. So,
well, I think if you're in a class that's all in Spanish, you better learn or die.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
So,
but she already came here with, like, classes that she had taken in Spanish, and she knew me, and she had come here for a period before, so she had already had experience and was shown the ropes of Spanish beforehand. So it's not like she came in just an empty slate or a blank.
I know, but still, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So do you take notes in English or Spanish?
I take notes in Spanish if the class is in Spanish and in English if the class is in English.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting. Anyway,
it's just what's convenient. But it was fun, all that. However, I do have 2 pretty cool things to share. First, I'm going to share something about my TA classes, the classes I'm TAing. I'm TAing the zoology class, which in CSU is the equivalent of the vertebrate biology class because it's all the dissections and all that type of stuff.
Right.
So I'm
I'm
TAing both of those 2 sections of that class, 2 lab sections. And I decided to incorporate some pretty crazy things into the classes because they were basically like, yeah, you can just follow the stuff that you have to teach, and up to that point, it's what has to be done. But apart from that, you can basically do whatever you want. It's at your discretion. So I was like, it's at my discretion. I have power. So
oh dear God.
What I decided, I will give you one example from what I decided to do that I'm
strip poker.
No, that I'm doing for this one semester of the school. So for these specific students, and I'm not going to mention it in case any one of them finds the podcast and can get information from the other group. But anyway, so what I'm doing with one of my sections is I'm rewarding their participation in class. I'm not making participation in class something that you get points for. What I'm doing is I'm rewarding their participation with tokens. And
they get a prize at the end of the semester.
No. It's way better than that.
Oh.
They basically get tokens, and they can build up these tokens and get a number of them, and then they can turn them in exchange for certain things. So, for example, if they turn in a certain amount of tokens, like let's say an arbitrary value, let's say they turn in 5 tokens, they can get one of the questions from one of the quizzes removed and get full credit for that question, even though they didn't answer it. Or let's say they turn in 2 tokens or 1 token, something less, and they can get one of the multiple choice answers that is wrong knocked out. So they, it's instead of being 5 choices, it's now 4.
How many students do you have in that class?
Around 20 or so.
That sounds like a pain in the butt.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun.
Oh man, no way. That sounds awful.
It's gonna be so much fun. But yeah, no.
Why don't you just have it? You save up tokens, and then at the end of the semester, you play Jeopardy. You like gamble with the tokens. So you can either, and each one's worth like a question or a point equivalent. So you can gamble to earn more tokens, or you can lose all your tokens. So that's, I think, illegal and totally effed up if somebody gambles all their tokens and they lose all their extra credit.
That would be, well, technically these tokens the thing that I'm doing with tokens is not extra credit. So for
Well, no, it's not extra credit.
right,
It's
right. For the first section that I have, I'm giving
it's kind of like extra credit.
Yeah, it's kind of like it. So like for the first section that I'm teaching, I am giving them extra credit if they complete something as a big class, like a big mission. However, the other class is not getting extra credit, but they get the tokens instead. So these guys get extra credit, but aren't able to change any of their exams. These guys get tokens and are able to change exams and quizzes and stuff, but they don't get extra credit, period.
So what's the point of doing this weird social experiment?
It's just me having fun. And then the greatest part is that I told them that they have to keep it secret.
God.
I told each of the groups that they have to keep it secret, or else they had the possibility of losing the extra credits or losing the tokens game if anyone found out. But then I told the tokens people that something secret was happening in my other section, which I didn't name and I didn't tell them when it was. I just said that something secret was happening in my other section, and if whichever one of the students or a group of students found out what was happening, I would give them and reward them richly.
Why are you doing this? They're there to learn, not play a stupid tokens game.
I am pulling together from the hawks and doves evolutionary thing. I don't know if you all know about this sort of hawks and doves kind of scenario. It's basically the exact same thing as the prisoner's dilemma. It's a similar one, but I'm doing something like that. Why? 1, because it's fun. 2, because I would like to think I'm creative. And 3, because as soon as I mentioned that we were doing this to each of the classes and I told them what they were doing, they got really excited and they really wanted to have fun with the class at that point. You know, as soon as you introduce,
which is cool.
I
totally get it.
Yeah, as soon as you introduce a new dimension to the studies, you know, if you do that, then they will have more fun while they're learning with you and all that jazz. And it'll also involve their studies, not just in the lab, but it'll extend.
You just turned them into Skinner's pigeons.
I did.
Here's a token. Have fun.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
No.
And I will be reporting at different times during the semester, so you should listen to the podcast to see how my social experiment goes.
How about you just say, like, 10 points for Gryffindor, and then at the end of the semester, you look at these gigantic vials of sand in it, and then whoever wins...
Whoever has the most. Actually, I think I might come up with something similar to that for next semester, because I'm not going to repeat the same games. I'm going to come up with different ones. But
I think that'd be interesting, because then you have them both working not really against each other, because, you know, there's no winning. It's just who's doing better.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that with my section next, if I get into a well, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so what else have you been doing besides torturing freshmen?
Before we do that, I want to tell you what the tokens are. I ordered, you know me, right? So you know what's about to happen. So I ordered off of Amazon refurbished, they weren't the refurbished ones. They were new slot machine tokens, straight stamped metal tokens. I ordered 500 of them. And then I ordered the little tiny jewelry style bags that are like 4 inches by 3 inches and they're black or whatever. And I'm going to give...
bags?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to give each of the students that, and it's theirs, and each of them has 1 token to start with. And then they collect tokens, and it's literally like Game of Thrones style. They have a sack of gold with them. And whenever they want to exchange something, they open the little bag, pull out the coins, and give me the coins.
So does the other class start with extra credit?
No, the other class has to work towards their extra credit.
So then why did this class get to start with a coin? That's unfair.
Well, they get to start with 1 token. Each of them gets to start with 1 token.
That's like 2 points of extra credit.
No, not really. That 1 token would only be enough for you to remove 1 multiple choice. And my multiple choice exams or quizzes will probably have 5 questions each.
So that's 1 point.
It's way less than a point because you still have a 25% chance of getting it right. You're increasing your odds a little.
I see what you're saying.
You're increasing your odds a little bit from 20% to 25 with 1 token because you're just removing.
Okay. So it's a multiple choice question. You have 4 options. You only remove 1 of them.
Correct. I remove like answer C because that's not right. Yeah. If they exchange,
I got it.
5 tokens would be them being 5 or 10 tokens would be them being able to remove a question. I also had the brilliant idea that if you hand in like 10 or 15 tokens or something. If you're taking a quiz, you can literally, no, not a quiz, sorry, in one of the practicals, lab practicals, you can literally what I call poof a question, which is you give me the 10 or 15 tokens and I have extra questions written out and the person gives me those tokens and I switch their question out with another one that can be like a really stupid word search, but it's still a question, but it's a really easy question.
Are you gonna walk around with like, you know how the guys who owned like old old arcades and they had the coin thing on the hip?
Oh yeah. Oh my god. That's a great idea. I didn't even think of that. That's fantastic.
You're welcome. I don't know how much those cost.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to look for one on Amazon. I will get back to you to see how much it costs.
Oh my god.
Okay, but anyway, the actual big news that I want to share with you and the audience.
You're pregnant?
No, I'm not pregnant. Is that I got a fellowship from the National Science Foundation.
What does that mean?
That means that I will tell you right now how much I got and what it is like, and then you can react because I will edit that out for the purposes of not telling everybody the amount that I got, just because bureaucracy, and I don't want to get into that, okay?
So is this like a scholarship or is this like a...
It is a scholarship, yes. Yes.
Got it.
So I got...
That's pretty solid.
Yep. So...
Congratulations.
Pretty nice. Though now, I mean, it's pretty great because I can put in orders for materials that I need to do my studies, and it'll come right out of funds that are not my stipend. That big number I told you is my stipend. So that's apart from everything else.
Right.
It's that plus my tuition, plus materials for my lab that I have a couple $1,000s for that, and for trips as well. So it works out really, really well, and it's nice.
Yeah. I only get a bit.
That's still really good, though. I mean, like
for a master's program, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would have been just getting my TA-ship and whatnot, but then again, my master's program does not cost a lot.
I think for 2 years it's like 40,000.
For yours?
Yeah.
Mine is for 2 years for in-state specifically. So
it's either 20 or 40. I can't remember.
So mine for 2 years is approximately $4,000.
For 2 years.
Correct. It's $2,000 more or less a year.
That's crazy.
Oh no, sorry. No, wait. It's $1,300. Yeah. So it's $2,600 for 2 years.
For classes.
Yes.
In your program.
Yeah, for 2 years. Correct.
That's insanity. That's so cheap.
Yeah. Yep. That's what happens when you leave the U.S. and you go to a public school.
Right. Well, I mean, even a public school, and
That's why I said leave the U.S.
Right. Okay. That's insanity. Okay.
Yep. No, it's pretty great. I mean,
how much do professors get paid?
I actually don't know that number, so.
I wonder if it's more or less probably comparable.
Yeah, it's probably comparable to it, but I mean, they're doing a lot of really great research, so I'm excited. It seems it's going to be really fun. But anyway,
when are you buying me Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
I know. I'm gonna, as soon as I get my stipend payments, I'm gonna get you some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I'm just fucking with you.
That should actually come through by mid-September, so that's when you should be getting them. So you let me know.
There's something else I did this week.
What?
I played PT or Silent Hills.
Oh, right.
You can find the video of me playing it on the website in like 2 weeks.
Right. It'll be up at some point soon.
Yeah, but holy shit, that game is scary.
Did you play it by yourself at night?
Not at night, because I'm not a crazy person.
Well, I mean, sometimes you are.
I don't scary games like that. I just can't do by myself at night. Like,
yeah,
I get really, really anxious just because your adrenaline gets pumping and you just feel like everything's gonna kill you.
Didn't you play Dead Space by yourself at night the first time you did it?
Yeah, that was fine. That's a little more actiony.
Yeah.
I know the difference between reality and space marine shooting aliens in the face with a laser gun. You know what I mean? It's still scary, but it's not real. This game was very dark and very real. Anyway, so let's move on to the movies.
Yeah, so the one thing that these 2 weeks had in common is the fact that theaters sucked.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man.
Is the fact that theaters sucked. I will repeat myself because what you have just posited as evidence did not help your case at all. Did you see
came out this week?
Ninja Turtles?
No.
Good.
No.
See?
I wanted to, but Glitz and Tits refused.
Yeah, good. Good on her. I'm glad. Anyway, so what we decided to do instead is do a segment of Theater Sucks, so here's a movie. And the movie we decided to watch was obviously The Raid 2, which recently came out on DVD and Blu-ray. And by recently, I mean maybe like a month ago, right? Something like that?
Yep.
Yes. So before we start...
I saw Expendables 3.
Oh my God, you did too. So we can talk about that a little bit. So let's talk about Expendables first, and then we'll talk about The Raid 2. So while I look up the information for Expendables, give me your one sentence trivia and start talking about it.
It's a movie.
That's it?
Oh my God. My dad liked it.
You remember when it leaked for the first time and everyone said, I watched it and it was okay? Is that how you felt the entire time?
Some stunts were cool, but most of everything else was pretty... I would put it on par with... I'd probably put it as the worst Expendables.
Okay.
Out of the 3. Just because 2 was over the top and crazy.
Right.
3 tried to go over the top, and with the stunts, yes, but with, like, the dialogue and everything, it wasn't as... It was almost like... Because in 2, they played it straight face, right?
Yeah, they did. Well, as much as they could until they reached the Walker, Texas Rangers moment.
That was still pretty straight face.
No.
But number 3 is way more self-aware. It was like, we know this is cheesy as... like mozzarella. So they tried playing it up. It's a PG-13 Expendables,
right?
Instead of an Expendables. So I almost felt like it was a more kid-friendly killing fest.
Oh, well then.
Like the jokes were more juvenile.
Well, that sucks.
I think 8-year-olds will get a kick. I think 12-year-olds would get a kick out of this.
I love how you up the age a teensy bit.
Well, it's PG-13.
Right.
I think kids would love this. It was like Power Rangers, but with old men. And like, kind of vibe to it. Like, seriously, it was like the Putty Squad's here, and then everybody exploded in a rain of bullets.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Mel Gibson plays a great villain, though. I will say.
Nice. Well, Mel Gibson is a great villain. Okay, before you continue, I got all this stuff. So, on IMDb, The Expendables 3 has a 6.3 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 34 with a 10% top critic score. And on Metacritic, it's got a 35%. So, there we go.
I'd probably put it about the 35. 30, 35. I could not pay attention to that movie to save my life. It was just...
Really? It was that dull?
It was bad, but it wasn't... it was just dull. Like, I love Kelsey Grammer. I love the guest parts, but, like, you get it. A motorcycle goes over exploding crap and then shoots somebody in the face, and then they blow up a building with a tank. Cool stuff. But it's like, you know?
Right, yeah. So, overall, you would say it's probably like a 30%.
I would watch it for free again. Probably. Maybe.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, it's probably put it at 30. If I paid money for that, I'd probably be a little let down.
Well, that's... Yeah. I mean, what did we expect? You know, when we first heard that this was getting made, what was my reaction? I did the exact same thing I did when you said that it was probably the same as Expendable. Oh, no, the straight face thing. I went, like, the second one was just... I don't know. The first one was a straight action movie that had everyone being the characters that they've played before, basically.
And it was brutal.
Yeah, it was crazy brutal. But then the second one became this sort of parody farce kind of thing.
Yeah,
which
totally.
If they would have had it be almost like Shrek, where they have all of the fairy tale creatures doing their own parts, like they're still them, but they all interact. You know, that's what I mean. Have Jet Li still be Jet Li's character from this movie, and have Arnold Schwarzenegger be this person from this movie. You know, have them still.
You can't be the Terminator.
Well, I know, but have them still be their characters, but from other movies in this one movie in this same universe. I'm talking about that kind of thing, which is almost what happened in the original Expendables. And if they would have kept that going, but added more and more and more people and more interactions, that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. I'd watch that.
Right. But anyway, point is, Expendables 3 was not very good. So moving on to The Raid 2, which was good. On IMDb, The Raid 2 has an 8.2 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 79 with an 83 top critic score, and on Metacritic, it's got a 71%. It is directed by Gareth Evans, and it stars, and I'm going to try not to massacre these people's names. I'm just gonna name just a couple of them.
This is you butchering
Oh God.
their names.
It
Okay.
stars Iko Uwais as Rama, Arifin Putra as Uko, Tio Pakus Dewo as Bangun, Oka Antara as Eka, and Alex Abad as Beho. So I'm going to stop there because that's good enough. No, I want to name the Hammer Girl because she was awesome and the baseball bat dude. So Julia Stell as the Hammer Girl and very try Yuli Smen as the baseball bat dude. Okay, now we're good. So what is your one sentence review, Cognitive Gamer?
Not the Raid 1, but a very interesting mafia drama.
Okay. All right.
Or gangster drama.
Yeah, gangster drama. Yeah.
I guess it would be gangster. They're kind of like the mafia, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Maybe mafias are exclusive to Italians. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. So my one sentence review is take the essence of the fights from the Raid, which made the Raid amazing. Take the essence of those fights.
That was the Raid. That was the Raid.
It was. Take the essence of these fights and stick it in a very cinematographically beautiful and experimental film.
Yeah, and I was not expecting that. What I was expecting was him going to the jail and then just the Raid 1 happening in jail.
Right? Yeah.
Would have been awesome. Like, I would almost preferred that movie.
That would have been pretty crazy. But however, I do like that they decided to go with something different. And like I said, the cinematography of this movie was spectacular.
I completely agree. But when you go in this movie thinking it's going to be the Raid 1, which is just like ball punching action.
Yes.
And you get pretty much an hour and a half of drama, you're a little bit disappointed. You die a little bit on the inside.
I mean,
once you realize that the drama is actually intelligent
and really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to follow.
Oh yeah, I mean, some parts were hard to follow, but that's because of the names.
Yeah, I think the names really, it was like Game of Thrones, but if every name was in a different language.
Yeah, they had a ton of different characters. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like, I'd almost think you'd have to watch it twice to get it if you didn't have a guide next to you.
Right.
Like I did, so.
But, yeah.
But what did you...
I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. Obviously.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Obviously, it's not the Raid. It's not the Raid Redemption. It is not. The Raid Redemption was, and I say this without any kind of reservations, the Raid, the first one, was a masterpiece. It is amazing.
A martial arts action masterpiece.
It is so good. It is so good that watching it makes you tired. It physically exhausts you watching these people fight because it is so amazing.
That knife scene in the hallway?
Oh my God. Yeah, but this movie, again, it takes the action and it takes the essence of it, the power behind it and the strength and the emotions, and it sticks it into some other fights that were very, very meaningful, like the big brawl that happened in the middle of the prison. That was crazy.
That was cool.
That was really
brutal.
Cool.
This movie is brutal.
Oh yeah, if you think that you've seen brutal movies before, you have not seen brutal movies before.
Like, I was like the guy's jaw splitting open.
Oh. Yes.
Oh.
No, not just that, but the way that they broke arms and legs and stabbed people.
It looked real. I'm almost like, this is a foreign film.
Yes.
From a country that's really not well known for the movies and probably for their laws. I'm like, they may have just actually broken their arms. They don't care.
No, it was crazy. It was insane.
Because like Ombak, which is another foreign martial arts movie, very crappy, but they actually used real animals.
Oh, really?
To do martial arts on, which would totally not fly in the U.S.
Oh, no, not at all. No.
So I'm wondering...
I doubt that they actually... No, they probably didn't.
We paid you $3,000. We will break your arm for a film. These are all rumors, of course. I'm just saying that like the practical effects were that good. Made me question that.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It was just amazing. And again, like the baseball bat guy, there were some scenes that were just ridiculous. And then you had forget about the baseball bat guy. The hammer girl in the train.
That was brutal.
Oh my God.
Like getting like bludgeoned to death by a hammer is probably like in my top 10 ways of not wanting to die.
And it was one of those moments where you just saw it happening and you're like, she was just hitting them normally and you're like, okay, she's not going to use the back. She's not going to use the back. Oh my God, she used the back. Oh God.
Yeah, but I think the front would be the worst, like getting hit with a metal end and just,
Oh.
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 Anyway, this movie's really bloody. If you are squeamish
Yeah.
in any sort of way,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. My one complaint with this movie, to keep this train a rolling, too long. It was overly
It
long.
was very long, but I think
I don't think it needed to be that long.
it could have been compacted, yes, but some of the stories felt a teensy bit disjuncted, I
Yeah,
suppose. Like the homeless person that would kill people, like he sort of came out in the middle of the movie out of nowhere instead of being introduced in the beginning.
I thought that was the crazy guy from the first Raid movie.
Was that the crazy guy from the first Raid movie?
I think
Oh,
it was. Which I felt like there's 20 minutes or 30, like 20 minutes on this person from the first Raid movie, and it had no connection whatsoever to Raid 2. And I
right.
was like, they just threw him in to like tie it up nicely, and there is no point.
Well, but
Like, try to give him a backstory. And even if it wasn't that person, there was no point for that character.
yeah, it
whatsoever.
was just emotional appeal to and trying to get and tie it to the other family. It was like the main death that was gonna catalyze everything because he was a big friend of the family.
Yeah, but you could have totally not spent 30 minutes on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. There are some characters that were just so throwaway that shouldn't have been throwaway, and then I think it just felt a little. You're right, disjointed.
yeah.
In the fact, like,
However, it's awesome. I loved it.
I think I liked it. It was very good, but overly long, like unneeded scenes. I mean, it was pretty. Don't get me wrong, but
So what would you put it at? Because I would put it at the very least at an 80.
I'd probably put it in 7.75.
A 7? Really?
7.5 is really good.
No,
like,
no. Yeah, but
I'm to watch.
Well, but I'm going like I'm asking 7, like 70%. You would go 70% for this movie? That's barely a C. That's a C minus, and we hate minuses.
Oh my god. I said 75. I said mid 70s.
All right. Okay. So 75. Yeah. I don't know. I would put it at 80 because the storytelling was pretty damn great because it was almost like.
Yeah, when it was good, but when it was bad and it was boring.
Hmm.
See, that's my problem with it. Like the whole prison part, it was nonsensical and really had no.
Really? I thought the prison part was one of the most compelling segments.
I mean, kind of. I thought it was kind of nonsensical in the fact they would send him to jail to go undercover. Like, you have to leave your entire family and you have to go to jail.
Well, but he went undercover because the person that he was trying to infiltrate
was in jail.
Was in jail. So he was going to get on his good side and then infiltrate his father.
The family.
That was the point, yeah.
That just seems easier ways to do that. I don't know. Like, that was fine. It just felt very long.
Yeah, no, I agree. It did feel rather long, yes.
Yeah, and I'm pulling this from, like, I saw this movie a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And that's a little bit tough. I just remember, so I'm just giving bullet points of my feelings that I remember.
Right, yeah.
Awesome action. That car chase scene, that was amazing.
Yes.
Holy crap, was that amazing.
And, okay, I'm going to explain one of the scenes. You remember when the camera comes on the right-hand side of the car, and it goes through the window and it points at the guy, and then it goes through the back window and it comes out of the other side and there's another car next to it?
Yeah, that was insane.
Do you know how they did that? Because I know how they did that.
Hidden cameras.
No. It was one camera that was being carried handheld on a platform. The person was on a platform. The car slows down to meet up with the other car and the person is holding the camera, okay? He puts the camera in through the window. The cameraman lets go, and there's a person in the car that is dressed like the passenger seat. The passenger seat was a person, okay?
Okay.
And he pops out Transformer style, grabs the camera, and puts it in through the other window to someone who's stuck on a platform on the other side of the car, and then they grab it and they point at the other car and spin it around.
That's awesome.
It is insane. And you need to see a video or a GIF of it, and I know that it exists on the internet. So if
I saw it on Reddit.
If you're able to see the GIF of that happen with the person, transforming out of the seat, do it. It's awesome.
That I have to say, like the last 45 minutes of that movie was the movie that I wanted the whole time.
Amazing.
Just crazy action. Like that car chase scene was amazing. That last battle with the guy in the kitchen with the curved knives.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
I just
want that for 2 hours. So maybe that's why I put it at a 7.5, just because it wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah, because it wasn't the Raid.
Which is bias, right? Like it totally
right.
It's a good movie. I think I just had to be in the mood for it.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
But anyway, I think 7.5 is a fair score.
All right. Okay. So with that out of the way, by the way, you should watch the Raid 2 if you get the chance. Actually, watch the Raid 1 and then watch the Raid 2 afterwards, so you have the Raid 1 fresh in your mind. And they're both amazing. So anyway, moving on to our Netflix movie spotlight, totally not sponsored by Netflix currently. We have so we have Mission Blue, and Mission Blue on IMDb has an 8.6 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got nothing, with only one review being fresh. And on Metacritic, it's got a 77%. It is directed by Robert Nixon and Fisher Stevens. And, I mean, the main person it stars is Sylvia Earle, but there's other people there like James Cameron and Michael DeGry and stuff like that. But the main person is this scientist named Sylvia, and this is a documentary.
Hold on. It's a documentary about the Blue Man Group.
No, it is a documentary about, that would actually be a really great name for a documentary for the Blue Man Group. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
That would work. But anyway, it's a documentary basically about our it's hero worship. Let's get it out of the way. It's the exact same thing as the Calvin and Hobbes documentary, Dear Mr. Watterson, except for the fact that it's hero worship with the air of conservation.
I feel like she also warrants a documentary over Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
This also was like the history of marine biology. She was one of the very first marine biologists.
Yeah. So anyway, let's do our one sentence review. So, CognitiveGamer, what is your one sentence review for this movie?
A compelling yet preachy view on a very interesting female scientist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a teensy bit harsher. I think.
That's fine.
I think it was, and this, needless to say, coming from a biologist, for me it was hero worship for good cause and good reason, but it pushed it a little bit too much to be preachy about her own causes. Whether they're good or not is completely irrelevant.
When I say preachy, I'm all for saving the world and not whatever. But it was a lot about her and her life, which is great, but it was like when you watched what was that stupid Al Gore movie?
An Inconvenient Truth.
An Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah.
And then there's sections of that movie where he just talks about his life, and you're like, I don't care about you, Al Gore.
Yeah. Like that's how I felt, because I don't know if you know this, but the people that made this movie is I think the director and some of the crew from The Cove. And The Cove is an insanely good documentary. It is so good. And then you saw sort of flashes of the documentary style of The Cove whenever they were talking about commercial fishing and whenever they were talking about shark finning. Oh my God. Whenever they had those sections, you were sitting there and you were going like, you were getting mad. And then all of a sudden they just started talking about marine biology again. And you were like, that sort of felt out of place. I don't know how to feel.
I feel like, okay, so this is coming from a very educated perspective, especially on your end, because this is your field.
Right.
More or less. I feel if you were just a normal person watching Netflix, say, what's a cool thing that people do that's a normal job?
I don't know. Drink and hang out with friends? Is that what normal people do?
If you are a business major, no, a construction management major, and you went home after a long day of being at, the construction site.
And you were used to watching, Orange is the New Black because the chicks are attractive.
And then you went to this, and you love saving the earth. I think I'd be happy. It was enough kind of pop culture to keep you interested, and it was very light on the science. It
was, yeah.
I mean, pretty much it pointed a finger at one thing that was one cause of the issue, which was people.
Yeah.
And it never went any deeper than that. So I feel it was almost like what's the word I'm working for? What's the normal person?
Simplistic?
No. It's for the common man, but there's a word for that.
Oh, layman.
Yeah. I hate that word. Anyway, it's for the layman. Yeah.
So to speak.
Which I think was good, it was for the layman when it comes to conservation. It's enough to make you mad at us doing something, and it was enough pop culture to keep you interested, and it was really nice to see a scientist getting a starring role, especially one that was a female and pretty much broke through the ranks of you know.
Yeah. And speaking of being female, how hilarious was the archival news report about when they first went down there to the big underwater station that they were working at? How
They're not big muscular men. No, they're three. No, five.
they're 5 beautiful women. How are they going to survive down there? 5 women with 1 hairdryer. And you were like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
This is just so bad. And that's how programming was.
That was
just 30, 40 years ago.
So unbelievably funny. I started laughing when I heard
the people who did the documentary just had to find like the most crass sexist.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Because there was a bunch of them like that. It was, who's the leading member of this? It's not a man, it's a woman.
And then it was like, is she gonna survive in a boat with 70 men?
I don't know if I was her, I'd be surrounded by seamen.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was a bad joke.
So I mean, there was.
I am sorry.
You apologize for that one, but not for the countless others you've put everyone on the podcast.
Yeah, but this one's about somebody that's real and actually did good things for the world.
Right.
It's like going to Gandhi and being like, I bet you really move quick because you're always Gandhi.
Oh my God. Oh, that is awful.
I made that up right now.
You can tell that you did. That was terrible. That was the worst. I think you just won with the crappiest joke ever on the podcast.
You must punch hard because your name's Hitler.
Oh my God.
I'm tired of waiting, but I guess I shouldn't expect less from Stalin.
Oh. Wow.
So anyway, yeah.
I swear we're master students. Jesus, that's awful. That was terrible. So yes, point is, I don't know how I feel about this documentary because it was just sort of...
It was well made.
Definitely. It was well made and all that stuff, but it was just... It seemed repetitive. It seemed like it would have been... Like, her story would have been better not as a documentary, but as a biopic. Like, make a movie out of her. A real, like a legitimate movie.
Yeah, that's true.
It would have been way better like that, and then have that documentary be like her crazy efforts to document overfishing and how the people are ruining the oceans. That would have been way better, I feel.
But maybe this is the first step towards that.
I don't know, because this entire thing was just... It was basically setting her up as an idol, getting people somewhat upset, because I'll explain that in a second, getting people somewhat upset about the state of the oceans through her and through pictures and graphics and stuff. And then at the end, it was selling her concept, which is a great concept. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for it. And I'm all for conservation. I work in conservation. But it felt like a very long advertisement that used her as justification.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'll explain why I said that you kind of felt bad, but it wasn't the sheer horror that you felt in the Cove for humans, because they had moments when they were like, use nitrogen fertilizers and blah 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 and the runoff, and it creates dead zones, and you're like, okay, that's pretty bad, but it didn't have a lot of impact, not that much. And then they had certain segments where it was, the segments of fishing a lot, or the segment that most affected me was the shark finning segment, when they just pulled that shark up and they cut one of the fins off and it started trying to bite them, and they just like sliced its neck almost completely off, like just cut its neck. And then they sliced all the rest of them and threw it into the water, and it just started sinking. And while it was trying to swim, like its neck bent all the way back. Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's almost manipulative too, right?
Well, have you seen The Cove?
No.
Oh my God, don't watch unless you are physically ready to be sick to the point of almost revulsion and just be upset. You do not watch The Cove. The Cove is an insanely powerful documentary. Insanely powerful. And yes, it is manipulative, but that crap happens. And there's a difference between being manipulative in a movie like that you hate, right, and being manipulative, quote unquote, in a documentary. Because if you're able to capture it and that crap actually happens, I mean, showing it to begin with would count as manipulativeness. But I mean, you have to show it. It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. So anyway.
So overall, I don't know. It's honestly from a biological perspective for me in the biological sciences, who's also involved in conservation. For me, it was a bit too simplistic and it was a bit too hero worshipy. I don't like hero worship. I really don't like it. Just like you don't like the manipulativeness of stuff, I don't like the hero worship.
I don't like I don't like that either.
Yeah. But I mean, she does deserve praise. Don't get me wrong. However, making that kind of a thing in a documentary seemed sort of superfluous.
It was almost like false advertising.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that I was going in to see a documentary about the oceans and preserving them, as opposed to the documentary about a scientist who's coming up with a project to preserve oceans. You know?
So why didn't they call the documentary under her name?
Because
maybe because she's not.
No. No, it's because Mission Blue is the name of the initiative to protect the oceans, to make the Hope Zones. It's called Mission Blue.
Got it.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, if they could have gotten that whole thing out of the way in a TED Talk, or they could have made a biopic. Like, for example, the Theory of Everything biopic, the one that's about Stephen Hawking, looks phenomenal. I teared up a little bit in that trailer. It is so good. It looks so good. And I think that's what they should have done with her instead of doing an actual documentary. But then again,
it's also a Netflix original.
Yeah.
Which tells me two things. One, it was probably they're a little more tame than other documentaries such as The Cove, which I've noticed. Like, for example, the Square.
Yeah.
Which is the Egyptian Revolution, which was pretty bloody, and it didn't show that much.
Yeah. But still, The Square was better than this documentary.
Oh yeah, I agree. But again, it didn't seem as an issue that it almost lacks relevance.
This one does?
As far as, the plaza, the square, that just happened when that was released. That's a big hot topic. Nobody's really talking about conservation right now in the oceans as much.
Yeah. Even though it's getting way worse and it sucks.
Oh yeah, it's terrible, and it's an issue we should be concentrating on.
Yeah.
It just isn't. So I wonder, it's like, it's a weird thing about Netflix releases because they just release,
Yeah, right.
There's no story about it, and they rely on word of mouth essentially as their advertising.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I would suggest it to somebody mildly interested.
Yeah, I mean, if they were mildly interested in that type of stuff, then yeah, I would. But honestly,
it's a great thing to put on the background.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about this. I can't, in good conscience, give it a score because I don't know. To me, this documentary was maybe at like a 60%. Honestly, it was sort of whatever.
But the issue deserves more.
Oh yeah, no, the issue totally deserves more than a 60% documentary, in my opinion. It does, because it's very important, and she's an awesome person. She has a lot of charisma. It wasn't
just about conservation. It was also about being a female. I feel like it was almost too splintered in the fact that, like, it was about her being a female in the scientific community.
Yep.
It was about her being the first marine biologist. It was about the oceans and the current states of them. But there wasn't. It almost seemed like it jumped around a lot, and there wasn't no focus. I could care less who she married 1,000,000 times.
I know it did. Okay, did it not seem like she moved from place to place and literally slept with everyone there?
Oh my god, that's terrible. No, it didn't seem like that.
It totally did. It totally did, because everywhere that she went new, she lost one of her husbands and picked up a new one right in that location immediately.
I don't think she slept with everyone. That's a terrible statement.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying she slept to the top. All I'm saying is it came across as someone that slept around.
Or it came across as somebody who was very fickle with their emotion.
Yeah, definitely.
But, not all of them was her fault,
Yeah, definitely. That,
like, the first husband, was the first or second husband that was just kind of like...
The second husband?
They're supposed to go on a trip, and then he just didn't show up.
Yeah, that was awful. See, this would make a great movie. A movie.
Yeah, I agree.
But, oh well. Anyway, we are done. So moving on to new on DVD and Blu-ray and theaters this week. New to DVD and Blu-ray, we have The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Only Lovers Left Alive, Fading Gigolo, The Quiet Ones, Toy Story of Terror, The Sacrament, The Dance
What
of
is Toy Story of Terror?
You remember that one?
Was that the special?
Yeah, that was a special. It actually came out on Blu-ray, I think, right now. The Dance of Reality, a Brony tale, which I think you would enjoy watching. It's a
Was that a
documentary.
documentary?
Yeah. The Empty Hours and Live Nude Girls. That is also one that might interest you. So,
Is that also a documentary?
no, it's a movie. In theaters this week, we have Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, When the Game Stands Tall, If I Stay, and these next ones are all in limited release. Love is Strange, The One I Love, To Be, Takei, and Are You Here? So, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. I am not interested at all in seeing When the Game Stands Tall.
What is that movie even about?
That movie is about a high school football team, which was really, really good. And then they...
Oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah, that movie looks awful. They were really good, then they lost, and they lost their...
So stupid.
200 and something games.
Yeah, they lost all the consecutive games, and then they lose one, and then the whole team's devastated.
And then the parents start being assholes, and they start breaking things, and the kids get all crazy. Yeah, that one.
That looks so bad.
Yes, it does. Anyway, moving on to news.
You know what came to the Film Institute here though?
What
is it called? It's like Love Boy? No, Life of a Boy.
Oh, Boyhood.
Boyhood.
Yeah, Boyhood.
The one that has a 99% right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna see that this weekend.
Okay, cool. Because that's also in our Fine Arts Center, so I might.
Fantastic! Oh my god, perfect. Way better than going to see When the Sausage Stands Tall.
When the Sausage Stands Tall. Bringing it full circle. All right, so news this week, or these weeks, we have the fact that DC Comics came out saying that they would release 10 films between now and 2020, which is crazy, and it's basically going to fill in the entire Justice League.
That's 2 a year.
Yes, it is. And they have, August 5th, 2016, June 23rd, 2017, November 17th, 2017. So it is literally 2 a year, basically.
That's just gross.
Yep.
Who wants to see those?
And Batman v Superman also moved away from the release date. You remember how they were basically on the same release date, Captain America 3 and Batman v Superman?
Yeah.
So that moved back to a March release date, which I think is the smartest thing to do, because it would have put a dent in both of their profits. And if they move back, they get the jump on them while at the same time recouping a little bit of the profit. So
you're moving forward.
No, it moved back. So Captain America is going to debut in May, and I think it's May the 3rd or May the 6th. And Batman v Superman is now debuting, I believe it's March 25th.
So it moved forward.
Well, yeah, it moved closer to us, yes.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is best.
Especially if that's a bad movie, or not as good as a movie as Captain America, and then it's like, just looking at the reviews, you're screwed.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, next bit of news is the fact that Terminator 5 just finished production. Did you hear about what the next Terminator movie is going to be called?
Terminator 5, The Termination.
No, it is called Terminator 5 Genesis. Do you want to take Do you want to take a stab at how Genesis is spelled?
It's either like jeans, because the Terminator wears jeans. It's like Genesis.
Okay.
Or is there a letter that's a 5?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay. It is spelled Genisys.
That's gross.
Yes. Isn't it gross?
Why?
I don't know. But I think that right now, at this point, they are thinking about dropping Genesis from the title. So, well, I mean, for good reason, because...
Kind of biblical.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird. It's so weird.
It's such a cliche thing, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was sort of a really silly name, I guess. But anyway, we're moving to some better news, which is...
Is it going to be like a reboot?
I don't know, actually. I don't know about that. There's not a lot of news about that movie because it wrapped production, but it's been pretty quiet.
Anyway.
It involves Schwarzenegger, though. So the important news is the fact that the new Power Rangers movie has been officially announced with a release date.
Woo!
Yep. So we're going to be able to see some Power Rangers in theaters, which...
Starring Bryan Cranston, like the old one. It's not starring Bryan Cranston.
No, it's not starring Bryan Cranston. But yes, this movie will release July 22nd, 2016. Hopefully, it is not a crazy, silly CGI fest a la Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. because that would be ridiculous.
Do you remember the original Power Rangers movie? That movie was ridiculous. Come on.
Well, most movies like that were ridiculous in general. And I'm not going to say ridiculous again, because that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. Anyway, the other bit of news is the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch, your favorite person,
oh yes,
joins the Jungle Book as the voice of Shere Khan, the tiger.
I can see that.
Yeah, no, like it makes sense, doesn't it?
I'd much rather him be a voice actor than an actor.
Yeah, but I think he does have the voice for it, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It'll sound pretty great. Also, I feel we're going to have a lot of talking to do about one of these last two ones. So, did you know that apparently they're rebranding, or they're doing this really weird thing with Edge of Tomorrow?
Oh my god, that was my piece of news.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, yeah.
But I just checked IMDb, and it's still Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, but like beforehand, it said Live, Die, Repeat, and then formerly Edge of Tomorrow.
Right.
Did you ever see that? That was so weird. It's almost like they're trying to rebrand it, which is so sad because the movie was phenomenal. It was such a great movie, but it apparently bombed, and I don't agree with that. It was so good.
Well, I mean, the marketing for the movie has been all over the place.
Yes.
I mean, the title of it, Edge of Tomorrow, is super generic.
Yeah, it is.
It had nothing to do with the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Not really. And I think
All You Need Is Kill would have been a perfect title.
Yeah, it's totally weird, right? Like, I think that would have been pretty good, too.
Yeah.
I wonder how it did in Japan.
I mean, it probably did really well, but it wasn't enough to... I mean, the movie still got above what it would cost to make, and all the production and all the marketing and all that jazz.
But I'm imagining they expected it to be this gigantic thing.
And it should have been. It was great.
So the problem is the poster said Live, Die, Repeat.
Really big.
Really big letters on every poster.
Yeah. But I mean, have you seen the covers for the Blu-ray releases of it? It says Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh my god.
Like it looks like if they were branding it Live, Die, Repeat. Those words are bigger than the actual title.
So I mean, calling it Live, Die, Repeat's not that bad.
I mean,
It also made it made about double what it cost to make.
Yeah.
So still pretty good. So I think this might just be a marketing stunt to just generate more news about it, maybe?
I
don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it was a great movie, and it
was really good.
And if you didn't get the chance to see it, watch it because it was so good. It was so great.
Probably one of the best sci-fi movies
in recent memory.
One of the most unique sci-fi movies to come out. Like, because Galaxy of the Guardians is probably a better sci-fi movie, but it was definitely a more cliche. It was almost a parody of sci-fi.
Well, that's because Edge of Tomorrow wasn't a comedy. Right. Guardians of the Galaxy was. It didn't take itself very seriously, and it was very loopy. Edge of Tomorrow was very concerned with morality and consequences.
I mean, it was pretty funny, too, at times.
It was. It definitely was, but that was not the main driver of it. No. Yeah.
But I'm saying as far as, like, uniqueness, this is probably one of the most unique sci-fi movies to come out in a very long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
At this, like, level. Like, somebody writes in and is like, it's a tiny movie called Star something came out.
Yeah.
And it was, I'll be like, I've never heard of that, and who cares?
But yeah, no, it was basically a big budget movie that was incredibly original and was really, really great.
Yeah.
So again, please, I can't stress this enough. If you have the time, if you have the ability, buy it, rent it, something, watch it. It's a great movie, and you will love it. I can guarantee it.
But when you go to rent it, just remember it might be called Live, Die, Repeat, or it might be called Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, as long as you see Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt on the cover, it's that movie. And I mean, like, really,
that's so crappy that you have to say that.
One of the people that listens to the podcast, he said that he was going to go watch a movie, and which one did he, based on our reviews, he had picked 3 of them, and he asked me which one he should watch. And I said that he should watch Edge of Tomorrow. And then after he watched it, he said that it was a great movie, and he thanked me for recommending it because he wouldn't have chosen it otherwise. And That's how it is. You need to recommend Edge of Tomorrow because it is a great action movie, and you can take someone to watch it, like even a date, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's a really
thought-provoking
and a really
funny,
crazy movie.
Great action. It was unique.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
You know what else is a great movie that I like recommending to people?
Which one?
Oculus.
Yes.
Anybody that's like, hey, do you know any good horror movie? Oculus. That came. Oh my god, Oculus.
Yep, Oculus.
I told.
And The Conjuring too.
Well, I mean that came out this year.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that just was released on Blu-ray last week, so I wanted to give it a little spotlight.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Right. All right. Moving on from Tom Cruise's rebranding, we also have It's
now Tom Paddle.
Wow.
Instead of cruising, he's
Wow.
paddle.
Wow. Calm down. We're almost done. Let's just get through this. Let's not put the audience through any more awful jokes, okay? I think you and I can do this just for once, Cognitive Gamer. Just for one episode.
You'd think so, wouldn't you, cool guy?
No, I wouldn't. No, I would not. So anyway, it's not really news, but it's something that I found really, really important, or something that I wanted to talk about. And it's the fact that theaters in China have been doing this thing where they screen movies and they display text messages over top of the movies.
What do you mean?
Like they project the movie and they project the text messages on top of the
That
movie.
like the people in the audience were sending?
Yes, that people in the audience were sending.
So it was like a concert.
It's just
Okay, let me explain myself. There's a concert venue in Colorado called the Fillmore, and during the concert, in the middle of the band, what you can do, you can actually text, and it'll show up on a big screen, all these text messages.
interesting.
And some of them are totally stock, but some of them are real. And, you know, you get a lot of pseudo penises and stuff. So they've been displaying text messages over the movie during the movie?
Yes, during the movie. It's called bullet screens, and they display it in front of the movie while it's happening.
Can you opt out, or are these like special screenings?
No, it's wherever there's a bullet screen is where they do it.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds awful, doesn't it?
Like, imagine some jerk. Like, is it managed at all, or
No, it's just you can send text messages there and they'll send it.
like it doesn't go through somebody and then they approve it and then send it through?
I don't think so. No.
Because that's like how the one at the venue I was talking about did. You had to like send it to somebody. I think they had to approve it because I imagine the amount of like
Penis
male
stuff.
genitalia in text message form.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming.
Right.
Like, couldn't somebody just text the ending to the movie?
I mean, I'm guessing they could, yeah, but like what these people are doing is they're
making a chat room.
Yeah, it's just a giant chat room, and it's like the article that I read said that a lot of people basically just went to see the movie and they didn't actually see the movie. They were just texting the entire time.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's pretty novel at this point, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's novel, but no.
I think it would be kind of fun for certain movies.
The only movies that I could see this working in and being good would maybe, not on top of the movie, but like to the side maybe, would be something along the lines of Rocky Horror Picture Show or Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Which would totally be like smaller niche movies, but I imagine in China, like, there's a lot more people.
Right, yeah.
So like totally like B movies or something like that with, because Rocky Horror Picture Show is a lot of fun, but you have to have interaction. And if you just have way too many people, like nobody's interacting.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people.
Yeah.
It's like that's a perfect movie to screen in front of like 50 people.
Yeah.
But if you have like 100, 200, I don't know. Or just imagine like imagine going to the midnight release of Paranormal Activity and they had this. So it's a movie nobody's seen before. It's the first time seeing it. Yeah. That would be pretty sweet.
I mean, no, because it would detract from the...
It might break the tension, right? Yeah.
It would totally break the tension. It would basically be a bunch of people laughing about the stuff they were saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly,
I'm someone that detests people not paying attention to movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I get how it could be the worst thing ever. Like, imagine if you saw this movie and you didn't know that existed and you just had to try to ignore text over a movie.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst.
It's awful.
And I just think, like, if it's not regulated...
Even if it is regulated, it's still really intrusive. At least in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it is very intrusive. I would be ticked if I went to go see, Her, and...
Oh my god, yeah.
It just kept popping up.
Yeah. Or Gravity or something awesome like that.
Oh no, space is attacking, man.
Could you imagine all of the misspellings? Oh, it would be the worst.
Well, those autocorrects. Imagine all the autocorrecting. That would be the worst. This movie's ducking ridiculous.
But yeah. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. This is the end of the podcast, and this is the moment where we do our little spiel. If you want to check out all the old podcasts, you can find them on youtube.com/user/postgradent or search
Remember to hit
postgrad.
the subscribe button?
Yes.
Sorry. Let me
Postgrad
let you finish.
Entertainment or Postgrad Games on YouTube, and we have all the old podcasts there in video form, and we also have a bunch of games being played, such as the ones that the Cognitive Gamer described in the beginning, the Silent Hill one.
PT.
Yes.
Part-time.
Also, you can check out all of these podcasts in
When it's
Podomatic.
video form, we don't mean it's us talking to each other. It's a blank screen and you can hear the audio.
Yeah, it's typical podcast on YouTube.
Right.
You can also find the podcast on iTunes, and you can subscribe to all of these means. You can also follow me on Twitter at TheRightPad and him at CognitiveGamer. And you can also send us your comments, critiques, complaints, and whatnot to postgradentertainment@gmail.com, or check out our hub for everything on the Facebook page, where we put a bunch of trailers, we put a bunch of news, and we link to a bunch of other stuff, and we like to talk to all of you. So if you want us to watch a movie, or if you want us to say something or do something, or if you want to give us feedback, definitely hit us up on there. Apart from that, thank you all for putting up with our crazy life transitions. Yes. Oh, I already said it.
I know, but we have an email in the email.
We have
from somebody.
We have an email from somebody?
Yeah, his name's Prince Naru, and he says if we give him a bunch of money, that he's a prince in Nigeria, and he'll give us a bunch of money if we give him money.
Wait, do we have to fund him to come over here, or are we giving him like a lump sum loan?
I think we're giving him a loan, which is weird because he's a prince. Why?
Well, I mean, if he's trying to transfer some sort of money and we get a loan and then get it back with interest, I mean, that's an economically viable option, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's totally fine.
All right, guys, we will see you next week, and we will let you know how this money venture turned out, okay? Wish us luck.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.